Hello everybody, today I'm going to show you how you can repair, at least slightly, your old Vans shoes. And the only thing you need is a little bit of super glue. So one of the biggest problems with Vans shoes are when this part starts coming out. Now this shoe is not that bad actually, but this shoe has the problem everywhere. So here, all over, here, and here. There's a hole. And I tried to record this video once before, and I was doing it in 4K, and then the phone turned off after 5 minutes because it overheated. So now I'm doing it in 1080p. So I already super glued this area, and all you have to do is lift the flap that is released and put the glue in it. So I'll be demonstrating it with this area as well. And there's also the problem of these coming off slowly. You can see. And the worst case scenario is like on my Converse shoes. So I already glued these together with not super glue but a different glue. The worst case scenario is when this happens. This is when you don't repair your shoe. Your finger can go through it from the inside. So this is hard to repair, but I'm going to try. And you can see I've done multiple repairs on these shoes and they're very old. So I'm trying to do that. I'm trying to prevent that from happening to my Vans. So I'll show you how to do the gluing. Okay, I'm using my Converse shoes as a tripod to show you how to glue these together. So you can see over here there's an opening, and this could lead to bigger openings. So I'm going to take my super glue and be very careful because I already glued my fingers together like twice today because I was not careful. You open the flap a little bit and you release a bit of super glue inside of it, and then you can use the cap or something and kind of press that little area that you just super glued together. And maybe you didn't use enough super glue, so you can use a little more just to fill it up because it just might not do the trick. And just press it a little bit. Maybe hold it down for a short while and just let it dry. Let it all dry. And it's really important. So I think the one I did 10 minutes ago is dried. It seems to be closed, and it's not opening anymore. You can see it used to be a hole, because you can see that here it's sealed, here, but here there's a black emptiness, which means it's not sealed. But now that I put the super glue in, it's actually really hard, and it is not open. If you see, I do movements, it is not opening. And I'll show you on these shoes. Actually, there's nothing on these shoes, so I'm not going to show you anything. But these, if you don't close these, they'll just become bigger and bigger until your whole sole just pops out, which is the end of your shoe forever. So I would close these and try to prevent any harm later future of your shoe. So I'll show you a different part of the shoe right now. So the worst part of the shoe is this heel area, and it just slowly starts opening. As you can see here, it's tearing open over time, and here it's already gone pretty deep. So what we have to do is just kind of like a needle, put it in there and guide it with super glue. So just go in there and just guide it until it's going to be completely sealed. So it can go onto all of the cracks and seal. And then maybe, if you can, press it down. You can press it down, but You have to keep the pressing consistent so it doesn't dry while they're separated. Try not to have the glue touch your hand, because that could become catastrophic and you'd have to rip them apart. If your fingers glued together, then you'll have to maybe even get your skin come off because of the glue. These are really, really strong glues, so don't mess with it. Also, if you're under 18, you should probably see adult supervision for doing this, because this could get in your eye and you could lose your eye. If it gets in your mouth, you're not going to lose your mouth, but you could lose something else. So please be very careful when you're using super glue. Okay? So I'm going to show you when it's finished drying. So it's almost dry now, and it seems to be doing okay. I hope it's going to be as strong as it was here, because this is now really hard. This is rock hard over here. Unfortunately, I didn't show you on the video how I did it, but this side I did on on video, and it is rock hard. It's not moving anywhere. The inside part is glued. So now we're going to try to glue this part together. So we're going to put it into place. I'm using my other shoes as a tripod again. So we're putting this here and repairing this. So you just inject super glue in there. This time I would go around it a little bit, and then I would press down with a cap and just wait a short while until it glues. So some of the areas you could glue more than once, because it might not be strong enough of a bond. Or you could go, glue it, press it, and then glue it again and press it a little more. That way you'll have more progress. So now I think it's kind of glued. The thing about the soles of shoes is that super glue takes a while to dry on these. So like plastics are kind of harder to glue than like leather. Also, don't get the glue on cloth or suede or anything. That way it might cause, smoke, because it's going to burn it, because of its chemical reactions, I guess. So it seems like this is also kind of dry. We're going to see how that's like in a minute. Actually, I didn't notice, but this area over here is also separated. It's not too obvious, but it is. So yet again, you put your super glue in there and you just inject some glue inside so it seeps inside, and it's going to harden your shoe, which would feel like, as if you bought it brand new, kind of like not broken in, unless your soles are really soft, or maybe you've changed your soles from your older shoes. But I don't think VANS soles can be changed. And then, yet again, I would press it with the cap. You could press it maybe like long lengthways, that way you cover more ground. But try not to get the glue to glue the cap to the shoe. So maybe move it around a little bit. And then I just realized I just glued my nail to my finger. So that's fucked. But actually, if your nail gets glued to your finger, you could just use your teeth and you're fine. But don't eat the glue, because that would be really bad for you. Okay. This seems to be a success, somewhat. You can see this area is glued together now. It doesn't separate. And this area seems to be solid. Even though it looks like it's a big gap, it's sealed right now instead of opening even more. which is good news. So this shoe doesn't seem to have any big problems. Maybe a little bit here. I'm gonna glue that. I'm gonna glue the hole over here so it doesn't open anymore. But this is just a pretty easy job actually. So I'm just gonna glue that. And I'm gonna glue this hole. Maybe you shouldn't put the sole onto the ground because you don't want the glue to stick to the ground. It would first of all make a mess and it would be a hard time taking the shoe off of the ground. Okay, so I'm gonna let these dry and I'm gonna show you what the complete finished product is for all of these. But actually, I found another hole on this older shoe. So I'm gonna close it right now. It's right here. So I'll turn it around. Oh no, I just dropped a bit of super glue on the ground. I'm gonna use a bit of the packaging to get it off. That does not help at all. Okay, so as I said, there's this hole right here, which I'd like to seal. So just kind of get in there with the glue and kind of let it seep through and have it go in. Alright, so now I'm going to let this all dry and see what it's like. So as you see, it turned out to be quite a success. All of these are sealed. Everything is how we want it to be. Everything is good, and it turned out to be a really long ass video, but I wanted to try to repair my worst shoes, which are these, and see what happens, because I've tried to repair these maybe 10 times and I'll do it again. So this is kind of like an extra for the video. So I'll be using a shoe as a tripod again, but it takes time to set up. Okay, so now we got this. Let's look at the not as bad shoe. It's got a crack over here, which I'm going to fill up with glue just by going in there and just releasing some glue in there and then pressing it down. Actually, it's a lot easier on Converse shoes for some reason. Maybe because it's in a lot worse condition and it's easier to repair because it's just so bad. So you just have to hold on to this for a short while, and unfortunately the rubber doesn't seal that quickly, so you actually have to hold it down for a short while. And I just realized there's glue on my finger. So yeah, almost sealed. Wow, that's actually quicker than I expected. Everywhere else seems to be good on this shoe. So we're just going to put this aside and look at the monstrosity that this is. It has enormous holes on both sides. So I'm going to go on the smaller side first, open the hole, and just release glue in there. And then press it down. This I tried to release as much as possible without getting it into the inner sole, so it doesn't, glue to my feet. Actually, I don't think that was enough, so I'm going to glue some on top. Now it's started to smell, so you should probably open the window when you're doing this, because it actually has a pretty toxic smell. And maybe I have the air conditioner on and the window's open, so I'm fine. So I'm using the cap, as I said again, to keep the seals closed. It seems to have worked, and I'm gonna go to the bigger problem, which is this. A good way to do it is just by pressing down on the sole, and it'll just open up. It'll creep open. I'm just going to release as much as needed. Oh, that doesn't seem to be enough, so I'll just put more in. And I'll just press it down with the cap. Now I'm just really hoping that this doesn't go down into the inner sole, because I put a lot in there. So it seems the Converse are doing it a lot quicker. Funny thing about these Converse is these were the first shoes I skated in, so they're in pretty bad condition from the first place. And I used silicone here, and then I used another kind of silicone on top, so it's it's kind of like rubberized. It's not going to tear immediately if I go skating with these again. There seems to be another small hole over here, which I'm going to seal as well. Now I wonder how long this will last, because usually I do silicone, which is from a glue gun. I use the glue gun stuff, and usually that doesn't last very long for the soles. On the sides, when you want to protect yourself from grip tape for skateboarding, it lasts a lot longer, but for the sole it doesn't last very long. But we're just testing super glue now. I've also used super glue for gluing skateboards together, like in a way that if it's falling apart, you can put some super glue in there to make it last a little longer. Okay, so I showed you how to repair both Vans and some Converse shoes, and these were really bad. And we'll see how well they do. But if you look, they haven't even completely glued yet. They seem to be doing pretty good. They seem to be pretty glued together. So that's good. Alright. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please click on the like. And if you want to see more just random videos and vlogs and stuff, you can click on the subscribe button below. Alright. Have a nice day. Bye.